When Damon started school, it was important for him to be toilet trained. Because he's got an intellectual disability, I always knew it would take longer than usual. We started toilet training 3.5 years ago. I thought we'd finished. He had an accident at school yesterday. Hasn't had one of those during the day for ages. I just hope he does okay today. I packed his spares. Guess it's up to him now. You'd think toilet training would be really easy. As children grow up, the signals that tell them that they need to poo or wee get stronger. The children need to learn what those signals mean and what to do with them. As a parent, all you need to do is be consistent in guiding them to learn how to respond to those signals. Easy, huh? Yeah, right. With Damon, well, sometimes I'd think he'd learned something because he'd do it for a while and then he'd just stop. It was pretty clear that things hadn't really clicked with him. My general rule of thumb is things don't always work out how you expect them to. I knew nothing when we first started toilet training. We jumped right in there, and boy, did I make some mistakes. The first time I took nappies off Damon, we just moved house. I thought, new space, new behaviour. Poor kid. He was so confused, and I had so much unpacking to do that I kept forgetting to take him to the toilet. Well, now I know you only start toilet training when the rest of the family's ready. You've got to be settled. You don't do it at Christmas time or in the middle of a divorce or while you've got visitors staying. The next time Damon wasn't ready, I thought he was constipated. He hadn't pooed in his nappy for days. And then one morning I stepped in it. Yep, same spot, every day for a week. I felt sure he was ready. He could follow simple instructions. He was staying dry for more than an hour at a time and he was pooing in the same spot every day. He obviously had some control. So I jumped right in there again and took off his nappies. I forgot one thing. Damon couldn't sit still for more than 30 seconds. He couldn't sit still anywhere, let alone on the toilet. What a mess. So the nappies went on again. Come on in. I had to teach Damon how to sit still. I got very good at noticing when he was sitting and saying, "Good sitting, Damon, very good sitting." Bugger. Kicking worked last time. Oh well. I guess it needs a holiday just like the rest of us. I got serious about toilet training when I started doing these charts. I used to go to this parent support group and I found out about keeping records. Collecting baseline data. Sounds impressive, doesn't it? I photocopied the charts from this booklet and then I just filled them in. They looked really confusing at first, but you get the hang of it pretty quickly. I just had to check Damon's nappy every half hour and write down what I found. Sounds like hard work, huh? But his teachers checked him during the day, so it wasn't that bad. We did it for a couple of weeks and then I tried to see some kind of pattern. I was trying to pick 4 times during the day where he was most likely to poo and wee. Couldn't see a pattern at first, so we took records for another couple of weeks. I still couldn't see a pattern. I figured his bowel movements were really all over the place and there might be something wrong. I took him to the doctor. If there was something physically wrong, then, like if his bowel wasn't working properly, well, then I'd have to set more realistic goals. With some things, medication can help, but other times it just makes it harder. Well, my friend Mary has a son who's on antibiotics, and that makes him less regular. Every kid's different. Our doctor helped me look at Damon's diet and change it. I had to get him to drink more water and eat more fibre. To make it easier for him, I got the whole family to do the same thing. Now we're all regular. Around the time I was collecting the baseline data, Damon and I started watching the cartoon video, Tom's Toilet Triumph. Damon loved it and wanted to watch it over and over again. His favourite part is where Tom farts. Oh, no, nothing. Can someone come and have a look at it today? How much? Welcome to our humble bathroom. Let me tell you how I got it ready for Damon's toilet training. Well, first I tried to imagine how Damon saw the bathroom. I decided to make it more his space. If it was a cold, dark place, he wouldn't want to come anywhere near it. I helped him make this picture. He wouldn't sit on the toilet at all until I bought him this. I think he was scared of falling in. I made it myself. Damon uses it as a step. It's to help him feel safe on the toilet, so he has some balance. My friend Sarah put a handrail in for her boy, so he had something to hold on to. You know your child best. You just have to work out what they need to feel safe and comfortable in the space. I phased out his rewards. I found it was good to keep them close to the toilet so that as soon as he pooed or weed, I could reward him straight away. It helped him to understand what I was rewarding him for. I only used his favourites and I never gave them to him at any other time. Worked a treat. I found it really hard to help Damon understand what pooing and weeing on the toilet actually was. I got over my embarrassment and showed him, but I don't think it helped. And when his dad showed him, Damon understood better. I think it helped that he had the same bits. Tom's Toilet Triumph was also really good in that way. It helped Damon make sense of it all, because he could clearly see what happens on the toilet. I thought I was so on top of it all. I'd recorded his baseline data for over a month. I'd finally found a pattern in it all. I'd picked 4 toilet times a day and I took Damon's nappies off. That was 3 years ago. At that point, it was a waiting game. I'd tell him it's toilet time, lead him there, help him pull his pants down and get on the toilet. I'd encourage him to sit there for 5 minutes. I asked my mum, well, she babysits him, and Damon's teachers to use the same words when they took him to the toilet so he wouldn't get confused. I kept taking records, which helped me adjust his toilet times. It seemed really tedious, but it did help in the long run. Weeks and weeks went by and he didn't poo or wee on the toilet once. I was forever soaking his clothes and cleaning up accidents. The whole house smelled like a toilet. I thought it was my imagination until I caught him running his pooey fingers through the carpet. I learned how to steam clean carpets that year. I felt like we were getting nowhere. I started thinking he'd never go on the toilet. I wonder how he's going today. The maintenance guy's coming this arvo, but these have to be dry by tomorrow morning. Patience is a virtue. After all that waiting, Damon finally did have a success on the toilet. I gave him a lolly straight away. Gave myself one too. Once he'd had a success, it was simply a matter of continuing. We all just kept going. We kept taking him to the toilet 4 times a day and we kept taking records. When we first started, I would say to him, "It's toilet time," and sign it, and then encourage him to copy me. Well, after a few weeks of successes, I would ask him, "What is it time for now?" and sign it. It took him a while, but eventually he signed it and said, "It's toilet time." I was so proud. You have to celebrate those successes or else you'd never get through it. Toilet training seemed to engulf our lives, seemed to be all we talked about. I was putting so much pressure on Damon. And when I noticed the local shop assistants were avoiding me, I realised that I really needed to stop sharing it with everyone, every minute of the day. It took about 18 months, but eventually Damon was toilet timed. As long as someone took him to the toilet at the right time every day, he hardly had any accidents. For some kids, it just takes longer. Every kid's different. For some, that's as far as they'll go. The next step was to teach him to recognise the urge to go. The cartoon video helped. I tried to use the same language that they were using. Does it feel like a poo is trying to push its way out of your bottom? I took nappies off him at night about a couple of months ago. He hardly had any accidents during the day and the weather was warm. Of course, he wet the bed quite a few times to start with, but the plastic cover on the mattress helped. Even though he had an accident at school yesterday, I'm really pleased because he made it through the night. He's doing really well. He hasn't wet the bed in over 3 weeks. Damon went through a phase where one of his favourite places to poo was on his sister's bed. Drove Leah crazy. I used to get mad too because it felt like he was doing it deliberately. Well, eventually I worked out that we were giving him so much attention every time he did it. So we all just stopped reacting. It was really important not to give him so much attention, positive or negative, whenever he had an accident. I just breathe deeply, stay calm. I avoided eye contact and I only talked to him when I needed to give him instructions. Sounds cruel, but it worked. Well, there was a time when I thought Damon would never be toilet trained. We were all sick to death of the whole smelly, messy thing. So I decided we needed to take a break for a few months. I put Damon back into nappies and the whole topic was banned from family conversation. Hello? Yes? What? But the man I spoke to earlier said you'd be able to send someone out this afternoon. Well, I think you should give me a 10% discount for the inconvenience. Tomorrow? Before noon? Okay. Bye. Damon loves this picture, so we've kept it up permanently since we started. He doesn't need this one anymore. However, he still needs a bit of prompting in the washing hands department. Especially important because his wiping isn't too crash hot. We've still got a bit of work to do in that area. He's come such a long way. These are his old charts. 6 months ago, he was having 4 accidents a week. I'm not even keeping charts anymore. Guess we won't be needing these. Almost dry. Yesterday's accident doesn't mean a step backwards. I mean, he could have been playing and just forgot to go. Perhaps his teacher forgot to remind him. Or maybe there was something that changed in his daily routine and it threw him. Could have been anything. I have done all the right things, and I've dealt with a lot worse than yesterday's little accident. And if it happens again today, we'll cope. Remember, it takes time. It's not simple. And if things don't work out now, well, it doesn't mean things won't work out later. Good luck. It's a big hug. Yes.
Mum, Tom needs to be changed.
Come on, Tom, let's go change your pants.
Mum, can I wear undies instead?
Well, sure, Tom, if you use the toilet like Mum and Dad.
I'll be back in a minute, Tom. I need to do a wee.
How do you know, Emily?
'Cause it feels full of water down there, like it's going to burst out of my wee hole.
Oh, okay.
Emily knows the feeling when she needs to use the toilet. All she has to do is sit and relax, and it will happen. Wipe yourself with paper when you've finished. Don't forget to flush, Emily.
Bye-bye.
And it's important to remember to wash your hands afterwards. Use lots of soap. Rub your hands and fingers well. Rinse away all the soap from your hands. Dry them with a towel. And that's all there is to it.
What's wrong, Tom?
I feel all full of water down here too. And I can't sit still.
I think you need to go to the toilet and have a wee, Tom. Off you go.
Do I stand or sit?
It's your choice, Tom.
I'll stand up like Dad.
Just point your penis towards the toilet.
Just relax, Tom.
And it will happen. Woohoo! Pull up your undies and pants. Flush the toilet, and you're nearly done.
Don't forget to wash your hands, Tom.
good, Tom. You weed in the toilet.
Hooray. Let's go. Oops. I think I need to do a poo. It feels like a poo is trying to push its way out of my bottom.
Phew, smells like poo too.
Sometimes you have to wait a bit longer and try a bit harder to make a poo happen. Emily knows to wipe herself from front to back until the paper is clean.
No more poo on the paper. That means there's no more poo on my bottom. That means no more yucky smells or any poo marks on my knickers.
Wash your hands after every time you go to the toilet.
And no poo on my fingers either. It looks like you've got a poo wanting to come out.
How do you know?
Tell me what it feels like, Tom.
It feels like my bottom is going to blow up. And I have to squeeze myself to get it down there.
Well, if you stop squeezing, you'll probably poo in your pants. I think you should go to the toilet.
Sit down for a poo.
When you sit down, tuck your penis down in case you have to do a wee too. You might need to wait a while. Or maybe need to push a little bit to make a poo happen.
I've done it.
Great, Tom.
Wipe your bottom with toilet paper when you're done.
Be sure to keep wiping until the paper is clean.
Away it goes. Always wash and dry your hands afterwards. And that's a job well done.
Hooray for Tom. All by yourself, Tom.
Tom wears undies and uses the toilet now.
Yay, way to go, Tom. You can wee and poo in the toilet like Mum and Dad.
I'm so proud of the boy.